Fairy tales. We all know them and all grew up with various incarnations of them. Capitalizing on this ingrained popularity, the folks at PlayLogic have created this twisted, sadistic, bloody vision incorporating some of our favorite fairy tale characters. Hey there everyone, this is Ray Carcillo for Classic Game Room, and today we're looking at fairy tale fights for Xbox 360. Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, the Naked Emperor from The Emperor's New Clothes, and Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk have all teamed up after a mysterious stranger known simply as the Little Tailor has come to steal their fame away from them. And in their fairy tale world, fame is everything. Without fame, their stories will be lost forever, viewed as worthless, and consumed by the flames of the fireplace of the giant, again from Jack and the Beanstalk. And without their stories, they will then cease to exist. So, it's up to these four fabled heroes to either find something else to be famous for, or to take down the Little Tailor once and for all. It won't be easy though, as a few other fairy tale characters have allied themselves with the Tailor, in order to avoid his fame-stealing wrath. These characters will make it their purpose to stand in your way, like the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and the Pied Piper. It's definitely an interesting concept to see these cute, cuddly cartoon characters chopping each other up in one of the most blatantly bloody games, even if it's cartoon blood, to have come out in a long while, and was a very unexpected surprise. Little Red Riding Hood chopping up lumberjacks with axes, Jack impaling gingerbread men with swords, and Snow White bashing toy soldiers with frying pans are just some of the examples of the carnage that can be inflicted during your adventures through Fairy Tale Land as you try to reclaim your fame through the only logical option: lots and lots and lots of violence. Unfortunately, Fairy Tale Fights falls flat in its execution. The cartoony graphics and effects give it a feel as if the game is torn between being an E-rated game and an M-rated game, instead of just going full tilt in one direction or the other. The senseless hack-and-slash violence is great, and the goofy faces of the cartoon characters as they're mangled is sadistic and hysterical at the same time. But the loose execution of the plot really takes away from the overall experience of the game. Add in that the controls are absolutely abysmal and that you attack with the second control stick instead of just assigning the attack mechanism to a button, and there's no way to lock onto enemies, and there's an impossible number of enemies to kill that are just randomly thrown at you over ridiculously long levels, really makes this game rather tedious, and that no amount of blood and guts splashed on the screen could really save. In terms of replay value, the game at least tries by giving you 4 different characters to play through the levels with, but they have no variety besides their looks. Snow White has no different abilities from the Naked Emperor, and Jack is no different from Little Red Riding Hood. So why have 4 different characters if they all play exactly the same? If you end up feeling as I do about the campaign, there's also your standard multiplayer co-op features, as well as an arena versus mode that can be played locally or via Xbox Live with 4 people at a time, and has a Super Mario Bros. 3 versus mode feel to it, with enemies coming out of 2 entry points and your characters trying to wail on them in the 2.5D arena. Unfortunately, the control problems from the single-player mode end up translating into the multiplayer as well, and will probably leave you just shaking your head in disappointment. Look, I loved these characters growing up, and enjoy seeing new and interesting takes on them, but when all is said and done, Fairy Tale Fights is a glitchy button masher with little to no variety over the course of its 15 story levels, and its limited arena multiplayer is just as sloppy as the campaign. I would recommend avoiding Fairy Tale Fights if at all possible.